Yes, it is about a bromance between Paul Rudd and this Tim Robinson, who apparently was on SNL. Guys, I don't watch SNL, so I'm not really familiar with his work. First time I've really seen this dude, awkward looking guy, right, is in this film. And it portrays this loser in Robinson as he tries to glom onto and catch some of the success of Paul Rudd's weatherman character. And by the way, Rudd here is very much playing a version of like Ron Burgundy. I mean, it's almost like he took his character from Anchorman and said, I'll slide it in here to friendship. And when you watch the film, trust me, you cannot miss that very fact. What this film has going for it is it has a lot of interesting thoughts about fitting in and trying to be part of the boys, especially for a guy who's not cool and really has never been part of a pack. So there's a lot of things that are interesting to explore within that. Okay, that idea is cool. I think it's interesting how, you get obsessed with someone else and maybe you're like, okay, I'm going to do whatever it takes to impress this person, be part of their group, of their entourage. But here's where the film misses, and it's a big miss. And it doesn't really surprise me, nor should it you. We're talking about an A24 film. So what typically happens with A24? You get steeped in absurdity and especially awkward humor here. I don't find people being awkward, saying weird things, saying things that are just kind of make everyone go cringy. I don't find that funny. I find humor that is railing on things that we believe and all of the things that we trust in, and we go ahead and subvert that and we attack that. I love a film like a Tropic Thunder, right? Very funny. Come on, man. That's a comedy. That's where you're laughing. This film's laughs are built in Anderson's being strange and you going, oh, that was really not appropriate to say, okay, repeatedly throughout the film. But it's not just that kind of humor that doesn't work. It's the fact that there's so many choices in this film that are not grounded, right? And I know, right, it's a black comedy. I get it. But when you have things happening on the screen that you say, okay, what are we doing and why are you going this weird? Can't we just do something a little bit less, right? It's so often what I talk about when I do these evaluations, it's always about dialing down things, right? Take the eccentricities here and pull it down to an 8 instead of a 9 or a 7. Would be better for me. But it's way up there on the awkward, weird scale that it lessens the impact. I also am not a fan of Tim Robinson in this film. I haven't seen his work before, but he just does things that feels like an SNL skit. And when I found out that he was on SNL, I'm like, well, this makes sense. He's almost playing like a caricature of someone that you'd find in that SNL skit. And that also doesn't sit right because that takes you out of what should be a very intriguing and I think emotionally more heavy look at a damaged dude who's trying to be something he's not and will never be cool to his family, certainly to his wife. This film has a lot of similar feels to a film that I really like. It's Dream Scenario, another A24 film with Nicolas Cage from, I believe, last year, right? Or was it 2 years ago now? Huge fan of that film. And while that film went out into the absurdities, it still managed somehow to ground itself and make it very human at its core. And that's what makes that film a stronger film than this, which again shares so many similar just overall vibes with this film. So I need to see something different from Tim Robinson. This act that I see in this film, I got enough of it, and I got enough of it pretty quick in this, okay? Because, again, it's going back to that same SNL kind of caricature, goofy, this guy is so uncool kind of thing throughout the entire thing. And then you got Rudd doing the Anchorman thing. He's not playing the weather guy. Remember, Rudd was the reporter, right? In Anchorman. And he's now the weather guy in this movie. So you're like, okay, why do we have to be so on the nose with these, especially with Rudd? I do like the soundtrack and the music used here. You heard the track off the top, which was unexpected. There's a lot of cool usages that comes in and out. I also like how the director here doesn't leave things in too long. Like a song will pop in, get you a nice taste of it, and then it evaporates. I think that's a nice choice. Overall, I like the direction here. It's got a neat aspect ratio to it, little squeezed. It also has, I believe it looks like it's shot on film. If not, it has that look, and that always works for me. A24 typically will give you that. Overall, this is a film that disappointed, but I was intrigued with it, and I was never totally out of the film, right? When I'm watching this, I wasn't saying to myself, I want to be somewhere else. And I think that is important when you are talking about should you see or not see a film. I mean, listen, I'm going to put it at 65%, which is pretty decent, but the thing that makes this disappointing and why I have to go thumbs down is I see a version of this film that would have been much better, stronger, and overall have more of a impact